On today's podcast or catch up, we are talking about Huw Edwards, a former BBC news presenter who was sentenced in September. And then we'll talk about class issue, talk about PDD. So Huw Edwards is a former BBC news presenter that was caught with 377 pictures of children. 41 of those pictures were deemed indecent or inappropriate. And at least one of those children photos is between the age of 7 and 9. And about the most of them are within the ages of 13 and 15. All the children are actually minors. So picture this, about 377 photos of underage children were found on this man's phone. And so he gets arrested and he gets to court. And then one thing, they're talking about, oh, what happened? How did he become this person? What made him change? Yada, yada, yada. And this guy says that, oh, first of all, he was raised in a very monstrous home by a monstrous father. And so that has sort of changed his directory, and that at the core of it, that's why he's a terrible person. That's why he is this person who is a pedophile. Let's give the term. This is what it is. Huw Edwards is a pedophile, right? Now, everybody knows that this is a crime, right? Now, the second reason that this man gives for the reason why he has become this person is because he didn't get accepted into Oxford University. I want you guys to think about this clearly. Think about this thing. A guy gets caught with 377 pictures of minors, of children. Some are indecent, and these are children within the ages of 7 to 9, and then 13 and 15. And he gets asked why he did this thing. His first reason is that, oh, my father was this person, and so I turned out to be this person because of the childhood that I grew up in. Very valid. We've seen situations where people who get abused become traumatized by that abuse and become that exact same thing that they were abused on. Fair, right, I understand that. Now, the second reason that this guy gives is that because his admission to Oxford University got rejected and he went to Cardiff instead. And the judge said, you know what, that's also a very valid point. What? Oh my God. Do you know how many rejections we have gotten in life? Do you know this week how many rejections I've gotten? But this is not about me, right? And I think this is not an issue of a plea that the masses are supposed to understand. And the reason is because I think that this is a class issue. And it's a class issue because, hey, I don't think anybody that is like me would understand that this man is the way that he is because he didn't get into Oxford University. And then the judge would think, yeah, that's a valid point. And this guy gets sentenced. Now listen to his sentencing. He gets sentenced to 7 months in custodian prison, which is that it is not prison, you guys. And he's going to do a course on how he can become an upright member of society. Off the top of my head, I can think of at least 50 to 100 Asian or black men. Google it. You guys Google it. Who have been sentenced to prison for lesser crimes and higher number of sentences. And the next thing they do is, oh, we're going to put him on the sex offenders register for 7 years. You guys, again, I want to put it to you guys that you see the designers of prison, the designers of, rehabilitative or correctional or reforms and all of that. They didn't do those things for people with class. They didn't do it for people who are in the upper echelon. They did it for people who are poor, because how many rich men have you seen in prison? Let's think about it. In Nigeria, there are so many men who have been accused of one crime or the other and they get sentenced. Where are they in prisons, in our Nigerian prisons? So now the judge is saying, we don't think that prison is going to do anything. So what is going to help this guy is that he should go and take a course and he will be fine. And I think to myself, so when you say that prison is reformative, you know that at the end of it, it is just punishment. That is what it is. And we've also learned that a lot of people who go to prison come out worse than they are. But who cares about that? What matters is that people deserve to go to prison. And so I also believe that people like Huw Edwards should be given the same sentencing. But now we are realizing that because he's of a higher status in the society, he's at the upper echelon, he doesn't deserve to go to prison. I was so shocked when I saw this news. I stumbled on it, by the way, and I was just thinking to myself, what? I think that our judiciary system, our police, our law enforcement agencies, both in and outside Nigeria, I think in the world in general, they are done for people who don't have money to pay their way through things. I say this with my full chest and I stand by it. Because tell me again how this sentencing that was given to Huw Edwards makes sense and this was accepted. I don't want to get myself angry or mad, and so I'm just going to leave this at that. You guys know this today, that all of this going to prison, sentencing people was done not for white people, white men in general, or for people who have money to pave their way through things, but of course for poor people like you and I, who they can easily sentence without even thinking, oh, maybe this is a first-time offender of this thing, or this crime is not worth this number of sentences. They don't really care about that. What they care about is maintaining their own status in the society. And so that takes me to the next thing, which is P. Diddy's issue. By now, I know that everybody know what P. Diddy did and, all of that. But what I want to say in conjunction to Huw Edwards is that at the end of the day, I think that different industries or different people who are the higher echelon of society have a secret society or a brotherhood or an association of some sort that they offer each other or offer themselves solidarity. And I think that it is the same thing that happened with P. Diddy. I want to believe that there was a list of people that was released on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter in a while, so I didn't get to catch that list again until I was playing catch up later on. And there was a list of people, very high prominent men in the music industry, who were listed that usually go to P. Diddy's parties. And we know for a fact that these people knew exactly what this man was doing. They knew the lives that this man has ruined. They also knew for a fact that some people's music career suffered because of the way that P. Diddy brought them into his organization, and he went about raping people and basically just assaulting people left, right, and center. And I think to myself that that this person is this way and you don't say anything about it, it makes you very culpable. It means that you're also very capable of the same crime, because there is no way you can tell me that you attend this guy's parties, you're with him every day of the week or at least every few months, and you don't know that this is what this guy is about. I think people just have societies where they think, oh, it doesn't matter the number of lives this guy has ruined. What matters is that he's a part of us and we're going to support him and support him with our full chest. And I think it's the same thing that happened with Huw Edwards, where some of his colleagues or some of his friends or people in his society are feeling pity for him. And I think to myself, okay, what about the millions of lives that he has ruined? And same goes for P. Diddy, by the way. So people like Reno or Mercury or whatever his name is, I saw a post he made where he was saying that, oh, at the core of it, friends, be friends with people who can stand with you. And I just think to myself, I know that that guy is a very foolish person. But this is not the time for you to come and start saying that people should stand behind people who are sex offenders or who have destroyed other people's lives and think, oh, people are not supporting them. And I think, how much of a good friend would I be by supporting a person who is fraudulent or who is a sex offender or who is a rapist or a pedophile? How much of solidarity can I offer to such friend when people's lives have been ruined one way or another? And I just think to myself, it is this sort of secret societies and associations and having this sect in our society that makes it very difficult for us to for the people who actually are supposed to be arrested to get arrested and sent to jail or sent to prison. What matters to you? Is it closing your eyes to a person who you know is affecting millions of people's lives? What's that friendship at the end of the day? The thing with us Nigerians is that when we make accusations to the government and say, oh, our government are thieves, they are so and so, they are calling people in for investigation, and we are accusing them and all that, I think to myself, again, how many of our Nigerian politicians who have been caught for embezzlement or one form of stealing money or the other is actually behind bars? But that's not the point, right? The point right now is when you accuse people in government of crimes like stealing money, not being truthful to their constituency, not doing what they said they were going to do, what have you done in the small sects where you are leaders? So I was telling somebody that if you check our leaders' bad behavior and you check, you look around you, I can assure you that there are at least 10 Nigerian men or women who are not true in their businesses, who are cheating people in their businesses. And I think our leaders are a direct reflection of who the majority of us Nigerians are. And so when you accuse people and then you look to your brother or your sister who is handling one business or the other, but he is selling that thing for times 10 the price he got it, I think to myself, you know that your brother is doing this thing, and then you pat him on the back and you say stuff like, oh, well done, a very shrewd businessman, or look how much money you're making, or this is you being street smart, and not necessarily that, oh, this thing is actually you trying to cheat people. I just think if you become the president tomorrow or you start to hold one public office or the other, you're going to do the exact same thing. So I think at the core of it, everything that you accuse Nigeria government of, if you look within your friends, you look within your friendship group, you look in your family or to your neighborhood, I can assure you that there are about 10 men and women who are doing the exact same thing. The only difference is you're doing it in small scales and you're overlooking it and patting them on the back or calling them good names for it. Now, those same people would one day become governors or holding one public office or the other, and they'll do the same thing and you're shocked, like, oh my God, I didn't know he was like that. Oh, you liar. You motherfucking liar. You knew. Because a person who becomes this big thief did not start in one day. It started from small things that you and I were seeing them do, and we thought, oh, it's not such a big deal. Let's let it go. Please do the needful. Subscribe, share, like, comment, share your thoughts with me.